What's up? It's the Gaming Pulse here, and it's me and Queef, and we're going to review Assassin's Creed 3. Now, Assassin's Creed 3 has been out since October,
Yeah.
but we want to review it anyway, because we can. So, crowd can go.
Alright, so Assassin's Creed 3 came out October 30th of last year, the day after my birthday, so I took a lot of my money and I got it literally the day it came out. And this was literally, at least at first, like I wasn't excited for like the Black Ops 2 and Halo 4 that came out this year. This was the only game that I was really like super excited for to come out at the end of last year. I was like, yeah, Assassin's Creed 3. They've been working on this game since before Assassin's Creed 2 was even released. Like, they've been working on this game for a long time. This is going to be, epic as fuck. And it was. I definitely think this is one of my favorite games that came out this year. The story is really good. I like how, this is the first time since Assassin's Creed 2 that they've kind of started over. Because, when you started up Brotherhood, you had everything that you had gained throughout Assassin's Creed 2 unlocked already. So, there wasn't really any build up. And the same thing with Revelations. You had all the stuff. Like, you got Revelations, you could parachute. And even if since that was a side thing in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, you're like, wait, where the fuck did they get this parachute from? It's kind of this weird thing. But they kind of started fresh with this game. And I really liked that. And, they started it up and they introduced Connor and they introduced his father, who you play as at first, and you kind of get to know learn, I guess, what the gritty truth about the American Revolution. Because a lot of people like to think that it was an old school war, but it was actually one of the most in terms of death and just how people died, and disease and all that, one of the most brutal wars that happened in our country's history. It just, honestly, I think it was the perfect place for this game to go. The setting is very good. I thought the frontier, which is where a good majority of the campaign takes place, it's just this huge open area. And because of that, since most of the game takes place in the wilderness, a lot of the free running incorporates running through trees and on logs and scaling rocks and all that, which is just really fun. It just really makes this game look twice as epic. Couple things like the graphics. I love the graphics of this game. There's a couple graphic glitches here and there, but what game doesn't have them? Because the graphics any other time look so good, I'm willing to put that aside. Also, I love the combat system. I think they did a really good job with the combat system. How they moved the counter button to B, and there's three kinds of counters. There's, I guess, the parry, where you just kind of deflect the attack. There's, I don't know what you call it, where you grab a guy and you throw him the other direction, kind of like the grab and throw from Brotherhood and whatnot. And then there's the kill, which is if you time it correctly, you'll just like in all the old games, you'll immediately go in and you'll kill the guy that was attacking you. You'll start a strike chain. And I just love just the flow of the combat system. It's difficult to get into at first, but it's really great. What's a couple other things I like about the campaign? The naval stuff, the water, just the way the naval stuff works is just amazing. During the second mission of the game, there's a storm and you're supposed to be doing stuff, and I just kind of look over the edge and I climb up on the edge and I looked over the edge and the water just looked breathtaking. It's some of the best graphics I've seen in games in a long time, and it's so much fun. It's another little thing that you can get yourself lost into it. And I feel there's just so much extra stuff to do in this game. The first time I played the campaign, I just went through the campaign, I did some of the extra stuff, and then I just went back, and now I'm playing it again. I'm trying to get everything, trying to get 100% sync, which is, I know what this game is going to be damn near impossible. But yeah, I love the campaign in this game so much.
Yeah, I love the campaign in this game too. It's very addictive. It's very you really just get sucked into it. I remember I was sick as a fucking dog and I couldn't put this game down. I think I went through 5 or 6 different chapters or whatever they are. Sequences, yeah. And just and I'm sitting here like, man, I should probably be resting, but I can't put this game down. It's so fucking good, and the story just gets so much better as you go on. I felt it kind of started slow, but I think the whole background story, I felt like playing as Connor's father for the first 3, and then you realize that he's a Templar and he's a bad guy, and then you play as Connor like growing up in the next one. Like that was really cool, and I'm glad they made the game 12 sequences long as opposed to like 8 or 9 like I've done in the past few games, because it really helped mold the story. Those first 4, it was very, very important for them to do that. Rather, I think it's cool that you got to play them rather than just watching a cutscene and then it's boom, here it is. You know, I think that was really cool. And like Keith alluded to, the combat system's fun. It took me, I would say, about half the game, maybe even more than half, to actually really, really get used to it and be able to like be successful with it. I was just because moving the counter to a different button, yes, makes it more realistic, makes it more like actual like sword play, but it was a bitch. It took me forever to get used to that.
Yeah, it's really difficult, and also like some of the enemies, like the big heavy guys.
Yeah.
I did not learn their weakness until like the last sequence. Like up until that point, I would try to fight him. Like, okay, maybe I can counter. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'll time it, and then I just give up and I'd shoot him.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, fuck this, boom. And then after a while, I was like, oh, you break his guard, and then he just falls on the ground. What the hell is this shit? So I was like, all right,
yeah,
cool.
And what was I gonna say?
Fuck, you talked about the combat.
I like how they incorporated guns in a very nice way, because I do not want Assassin's Creed franchise to ever become more of a gun-oriented gameplay, because that would just ruin what Assassin's Creed has been built upon with this awesome combat. But I like how they incorporated guns. You can use guns if you want, and they're very useful, but you don't have to at all. And I think that's really cool how they did that. What else was I going to say? Connor is a very nice character. Like, I like how they made him completely different from Altair and Ezio in his personality. He's kind of like an arrogant son of a bitch, and the way he treats the old guy that trains him and all that stuff, it blew my mind. I'm like, wow, you're an asshole, dude. And he would just like get all over this guy's ass when this guy helped him out and took him in and trained him and taught him all this stuff. And I like how they made him an asshole. I think it's kind of weird saying that, but I think that's really cool. It just adds so much to the story. Just some of the moments in the campaign just blew my mind. How you get to play the Battle of Bunker Hill and go to assassinate one of the Templars, or the sequence where you have to break out of prison and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like there was just so many moments that was new to this franchise that just blew my mind. I was like, wow, this is so cool. This is so different. The cities are breathtaking. New York and Boston, like they're so fun. They're so huge. There's just so much going on. There's so many side missions you can do. This game just has so much to do. It's like, it's insane. And the first time I stepped into the Frontier, I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. And you look out and you see the water, like Keith said, and it was just breathtaking. And hunting. Hunting is one of the coolest things. I could spend hours just hunting and doing some of the hunting challenges that you can do. And when I fought my first bear, I shit myself. It was so cool, and I love so many things that they added to this game. I love this game to death. This might be my favorite Assassin's Creed game that they made. It's very close between this one and Brotherhood. But the story was great. Just the combat system was awesome. There's so many side missions. Like you can do stuff to the ship
Yeah.
You can go through the city and do liberation missions. You can hunt. There's so much to do because I felt like some of the other Assassin's Creed games, like you finish the campaign and yeah, there's some stuff to do, but then you just kind of run out of stuff to do. Here, there's so much to do. It's like Skyrim and Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Not really. There's so much more to do with Skyrim, but
There's a lot.
you see what I mean.
Yeah, I remember a couple of things. I like, also it's really cool, one of the things they did, they made, like, I like how they changed the, like, assassin recruit system. Like, you have to liberate zones of Boston, which it was like the other games, except now, instead of just taking out a Templar in a tower, or whatever the hell it was in the other games, you actually have to do a lot of, like, multiple missions, and they only, like, tell you where half of them are, the rest of them you have to find on your own. And then even then, there's, like, well, you can do the old school, like, you know, just calm down to assassinate somebody. And there's all kinds of other things you can have. You can set up ambushes, and they basically can kind of do, because, you know, there's no mercenaries or thieves or courtesans in this game, so you can have guys come up and they'll escort you and they'll look like redcoats, so you look like a prisoner, and it's like, but then they made it like so you're not relying on them because like. When I played, maybe a little bit toward the end of Brotherhood, but when I played Revelations, it got to the point where, like, unless it was, like, a big, like, unless it prevented me from getting 100% sync, or it was, like, a big, like, target for, I rarely ever killed a guy myself. Like, I just used my, like, guard, I'm just gonna call my recruits, boom. I feel like in this game, I barely used the recruits, unless, like, a couple of times. So I was like, because I felt like I was getting a crush by them. It felt weird to just, you know, having to kill all the guards like I used to, or not having the crossbow storm and things like that. There was a couple other things they brought back. There was some things that were missing from the game that I missed. Like, they brought horses back, which, you know, they didn't have in Revelations, but there was no mounted combat, which I kind of missed. I mean, you could shoot your gun, but you couldn't use a sword or nothing.
That is true.
What's the other one? They brought the zipline back for one part of the game, which they said the zipline was still going to be a huge thing, but they only brought it back for like one little of the fort missions where you just use the zipline to get in, and like there's some things that I missed from the old games, like fuck, what was the other one? I don't remember, but it was like there was just like some things that I do miss from that. Have you played the multiplayer all that much at all?
No, but. You can talk about that then, but one last thing is I feel this game has so much life to it. When you go to New York and Boston in the frontier, like there's just so much life to it. You actually feel like you're in a city and you're in with all these people and all that stuff. Like it just has so much life to it, and I think Ubisoft did a very great job just bringing the entire world of colonial America alive and just all that stuff. This is just a great game. But Keith can talk about the multiplayer because I have not played it.
But the other thing was they didn't bring back like anything like the Assassin Tunes, like or anything like that.
I wish they had those.
Like
those
they have one mission like that. Is if you get the new like the backpack and you get the Xbox downloadable thing, you get the Mayan ruins or the Aztec ruins, whatever the hell it is. Like, but that's only like 5 minutes long. It's really short, and I'm like, oh, why can't that be longer? Because that had potential to be a really cool one. Because like, it's a decrepit place, and like every couple of seconds, like something will fall. I'm like, yeah, this is. But then it was over, and you get the sword because you get the Sawtooth sword, and I was like, I mean, yeah, it was cool, but that's kind of disappointing. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But the multiplayer, I mean. Honestly, I'll talk about it a little bit. It's honestly a lot similar to Revelations and Brotherhood. The only thing is it's not as buggy. Revelations was really buggy multiplayer. I played a match on Revelations where literally I had my target and like the HUD on the top of the screen, and then it was just a brown screen, and that's what I had to stare at for an entire match. And I'm like, okay, it's like. That's part of the reason why Revelations just had left a bad taste in my mouth as a game. But, like, you know, they added a couple cool new animations to it. They added, instead of kicking a guy in the head for a ground finish, you pull out a pistol sometimes. and you shoot them in the head, and they added muskets as a weapon, and there's a couple new animations. The music is the same, which, I mean, I don't mind the music. I thought the music was okay for Revelations, but I mean, I kind of wish they had new music. What else? There's a couple, new game modes. Um, there's Wolfpack, which I still need to do with you sometime, which is like, it's basically like a co-op campaign in a way. You both go out and it's like a multiplayer map. You're like, okay, find this NPC. Oh, and you have to kill him within this time limit. And if you want to get extra time, air assassinate him, or ledge grab him, or do a synchronization kill, which is where you both kill both targets within like a certain period of time, and it pulls up a cool animation, like a cutscene where you kill him, which is really cool. And the other thing is kind of like just like the game, and it made I think it made the multiplayer so much better. Is they took the stun button multiplayer off the B button, and just made it X. It was all one button. So now when you walk around, everything's X. So X just pops up over everybody's head, unless it's another player who isn't your target or isn't a pursuer. So it's like, oh, I think this guy's my pursuer. Boom. Oh, I just killed a civilian, and I lost my contract, and now my pursuer knows where he's like, fuck, I'm screwed now. And I mean, the multiplayer is really fun. I haven't played it in a little while. I really want to get back to it, but the multiplayer is really fun. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
What would you give this game?
I would seriously give this game like a 9.5 out of 10. If this is honestly my game of the year. I love this game so much.
I would probably give it a 9 out of 10 simply because I'm a faggot and I haven't played the multiplayer yet because I'm a faggot. And but a 9 out of 10 is because the campaign is just beautiful. So go buy Assassin's Creed 3 because it's awesome.